for joining us today. I'm Alisha Bynum, and this is How We Thrive. We're bringing back the podcast for the Texas Annual Conference, and I'm so excited today that our first guest is Ben Burnside. Hey, Ben, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so Ben, I know a little bit about you because we've hung out a few times when I was in College Station. So tell us a little bit about you. What do people need to know about you?
Sure. My name is Ben Burnside. I'm an elder in the Texas Annual Conference. Have been for a little while now. I went to Duke for seminary. So
You're a Dookie.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Please don't prejudge me, right?
only clergy judges clergy, and I'm not clergy, so you're safe. You're safe here.
I served at First Beaumont for a while, and then a number of years at Good Shepherd in Cypress, and I've been in the conference office almost 3 years now.
Okay, awesome. 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years. Okay, so you're in the Center for Leadership Vitality. You're the associate director. Tell us, what is the Center for Leadership Vitality? Because not every conference has one of them.
Right. Yes. So the Center for Leadership Vitality basically looks at ways to equip leaders across our churches. So that is a lot focus on laity and congregations and also clergy.
Okay.
So we don't do directly with benefits or anything to do with like money and finances. That's another department. But we do look at ways in which we can be helpful as a conference to equip our churches and our clergy. And so in my role, I focus a lot more on clergy development and clergy recruitment.
Okay. So what does that look like day to day?
Sure. Well, sometimes it's digging through the discipline to figure out what kind of leave people qualify for, or complicated questions around candidacy, weird situations that can come up. Other times it's planning and going to retreats and or making phone calls or going to seminaries to visit prospective students.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
It's a very wide range of activities.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did get to attend one of the retreats that you planned back in October, and that was so much fun. The structured playtime, people really getting to listen and learn from other leaders in the Methodist Connection.
Yeah.
So great job with that. Great job with that. If you're a clergy and you don't attend, you need to be there. You need to be there. If you could tell us what vitality means in relations to your job, what would that be?
Oh, that's a good question. I think a lot of it's just intentionality and a desire to grow. You know, sometimes we can be tempted to just think that all of our learning and growing is behind us and we figured it out. But everybody is called to look for ways in which we can continue to hear and learn from others, grow and invest in whatever skills that can be. And I find it's best if people kind of look within themselves to know those growing areas.
Yeah.
And so vitality just means that there's a heartbeat going on, that we're not just still and dead, but we are alive and seeking to grow from that. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. In college, we talked a lot about spiritual vitality, and that was one of like the key things that they wanted us all to take away. So it's really important to me. But also, I mean, you're actively doing that right now.
Oh.
I feel like this is a big call for you. Ben's in the middle of getting his doctoral degree.
Yes.
Why?
I don't know.
So much school.
I think I like school and I couldn't stay away.
Yeah. Yeah. So where are you going to school?
I am doing my doctorate in theology and ministry at Durham University.
Okay.
Which is a university.
North Carolina?
No, it's in the UK.
In the UK? Okay.
Yes.
Tell me more.
Sure. They allow part-time doctorates, and I've been doing it almost 6 years now.
Long time, Ben.
It is a long time, but it was the only way I could do doctoral work and stay working full-time. But in the time that I've been going to school, I've gotten married and had kids and changed jobs and a whole bunch of transitions. And so I'm coming towards the end of my studies now, hopefully.
Okay.
I just need to finish writing and submit ultimately and do a defense and all that stuff. But I am close.
You're close. Well, congratulations on that. That sounds terrible. That sounds terrible. I couldn't wait to be done with school.
Right.
Wait to be done with school. I enjoy learning, but like micro learning. Like, let me find something I enjoy.
Right.
Let me go study it, get what I need, and then move on to the next thing, and then come back to it. 6 years. Ben, 6 years. That's a long, long time. So tell me a little bit about what it means. And you said earlier that you work mostly with clergy.
Mm.
So what does that look like right now? You've got a few different initiatives that have kind of come out of your area. But obviously we're not just looking at the clergy we have today. We're looking at clergy tomorrow. We're looking at the clergy who maybe are done being clergy, but they're still connected. So what does that mean for you? Loaded question.
No, whenever I was a young clergy person, there were a number of initiatives that the conference put together that were specifically aimed at recruiting young people such as myself. I never had to be recruited because I grew up in this conference, but I received the benefits of a lot of those, whether they were monetary or just the providing of opportunities. It was such a strong and positive force in our conference and led to really great numbers of young people becoming clergy. A number of those systems still exist today, but as you just said, what the people are looking for who are coming in, not just young people, but people who have no clergy experience, because I get to lead the candidacy summit. So I see a lot of people entering the process from 18 to 70. And they have a different kind of call and understanding. It's an ever so slight shift, but they're looking for different opportunities and different ways to discern their faith. A lot more of connection in the community. There's been a lot of interest in roles like the deacon. And so it's really looking at the programs we have and asking, how do we kind of shift these to be better, to provide better opportunities and more wide range of opportunities. One of the ways that we did that is we looked at our internship program, and it's still going, but we also just made it more flexible. So now we allow for part-time things for people who are in college. We allow for people who feel called to like a specific ministry, like a nonprofit or a youth ministry, or even just like a call to do justice ministry, that we can give more specialized appointments for them, as opposed to it just being a strict go to a random church and serve for a while. And so we're just doing that with almost all of our programs in kind of for the recruitment system. Development's been a little bit more trickier, just because for the past, I don't even know how many years, it just seems like we've been kind of going through so many different things as a society that it's changed the kind of needs of a clergy. And so really, we're trying to pull back as much as possible to enable clergy to discern for themselves, because they know better than us. What do you need? And then the question is, once we know what people need in general, how best do we help to provide that? We're not the sole source of people's development, but putting those resources towards it.
So a second ago, you said that you didn't have to be recruited because you were already in the conference.
Right.
So what was your call like?
Oh, well, obviously I ended up doing my doctorate, as we just talked about. But when I was in seminary, I was torn between, do I stay in academia and do my doctorate, teach, or do I go in the church?
Let's back it up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
What made you want to go to seminary?
Oh, that's a great question. I've already forgotten how to tell my call story since I got ordained so long ago.
You listen to these all the time.
I do. Okay. Yes. The summer after my high school year, I grew up very connected in the church. Summer after my high school year, I went to a program called Duke Youth Academy, which our own Texas Youth Academy was modeled after. It's a 2-week immersion camp where you do mission, you do worship and praise every day, you hear from seminary professors. It was a very foundational event for me. It was the first time I ever saw people talking about the faith in a way that took it like seriously. Like, oh, people learn Hebrew just to read the Bible. Like, what is this? But then also that summer I went to UMRME. So I just had a summer of very deep spiritual experiences. And I remember being at the rail at UMRME on Cry Night, if you've been to UMRME before. And I just felt like the Spirit upon me I didn't feel like a call that was like bright to say, you need to go serve churches in the Texas Annual Conference. It was more like you need to move in the direction of whatever this seminary theology life is. And I was content with that. I didn't need to figure it out. So I transferred majors. I was an engineering major. I switched to being a philosophy major.
So you.
I know.
So you.
But it was at Texas A&M, so there was like 30 people in the whole major.
Okay.
And then I decided I wanted to go to seminary. And so then to pick up where I started, when I was in seminary, I was still, what do? I hadn't even started the candidacy process. I waited so long. But you have to do in-person internships in seminary. And I went to a very small church out in North Carolina and was able to just participate in ministry in a way that I hadn't done before. I'd done youth internships and stuff, but I'd never been like preaching, teaching, leading, doing hospital visits, all those things. And so I just felt like an affirmation after affirmation. And then that's when I kind of felt a call to like, no, I think I want to go serve in churches and see what this ministry thing is about. Yeah.
So how was that? Again, I've got to see a little bit how you have gone on some of your campus visits. And I know some of the people who you're out meeting who they're not elders. They're not really they're in the candidacy process for us. But how has that, again, a really warming story that you just shared, how has that kind of impacted how you're leading them, making sure they're getting the full experience before they say yes, before they take their vows?
Yeah. I think it's just encouraging. For me, I mean, I think I had a fairly unique story. Maybe it's a little standard. Some people are struck from heaven. Some people have a very dynamic, I was doing this and I turned around, like Paul getting knocked off a horse. Mm-hmm. And I just like to be affirming and like, no, mine was a very slow and gradual call. And I sensed it early, but it took me 10 years to figure out which professional direction to take it. And so like whenever the lead candidacy summit, I just like to tell people like, a call story can really be, it's unique. The Spirit speaks to everyone differently, just as all you have all different spiritual gifts. And we also really like to emphasize as a conference, as a center, that every single person, if you proclaim Jesus as your Lord, every person is called to ministry. Some people need to be ordained or licensed to do that, but not everybody. And so this candidacy summit and the candidacy process that we lead doesn't mean you're signed, sealed, and delivered. You're just jump through these hoops. It's meant to be a process where you can be like, this is kind of how I'm imagining, and helping discern your call with other people.
Getting full clarity.
Exactly. And some people will, in that process of saying, you know what, I'm really called to lay ministry. I'm really called to just be a really dedicated volunteer. And others say, I'm ready to begin the journey of being a pastor. And so I like to put as much room for creativity in the ways that you could serve into that as possible.
Yeah. What do you think right now is one of the biggest struggles that people who are exploring candidacy right now are facing with the world, how it is today? That's a loaded question.
Sure.
We can skip this part if we need to.
No, it's all good. I think the nature of ministry is shifting, the nature of seminaries and how they're functioning are shifting, and kind of trying to find stable footing among all that in the ways in which our institutions are lagging behind a little bit of that. So there's a lot of translation work that they have to do. Not that it's impossible, and not that we don't need their service, but I think there's just a lot of discernment that they kind of have to do in figuring out, how do I meld my understanding of call, what I would like to do, with what people are expecting and wanting as a church, say. And so they require, once again, a little bit of creativity, a little bit of honest conversations, and a give and take, and trying to make all those things work. Yeah.
So as a clergy person who is currently not assigned to serve in the local church, you're assigned at the conference level.
Right.
How does that kind of change how you communicate to others on, like, we need you to serve in the local church, or we need you to serve in this extension ministry, or we need you at the conference, or maybe listening to what their call is to where they're supposed to be?
Right. Well, I mean, it is interesting being on extension ministry, because Sundays you're kind of a free agent. You can go fill in wherever you need to, and then sometimes you just go to your local church. And
just imagining you as like a little football player, like you're gonna go play for this week.
No, with a very young daughter, I got the pleasure of being like oh my God, I'm 5 minutes late to this church because she wouldn't put her bow on and throwing her in the nursery and running up the stairs to the balcony so you can slip in. Like,
Somebody did send me a picture of you on Christmas Eve, like walking in with all of your bags, and I'm guessing it was like a Wiseman crown.
yes, it was Epiphany Sunday.
Epiphany Sunday, yes. You're just trying to get in church. You're walking in late.
Yeah, so I've learned to sympathize with all the lay people I ever judged for being late to church. I repent of all of that.
So listen to that, clergy. Yeah, listen to that. Think about your lady.
Yeah, so you were asking about navigating between extension ministry, local church, all these different things. They're all different ways to serve. Like I said, it's a very different way of serving at the conference office because we're kind of I'm particularly equipping clergy, right? So, I mean, the people that I'm helping mentor through the candidacy process, I guess that could be my kind of congregation, if you will. But you have to think of a different way of doing that. So how is my leadership? Really, I think of myself as just trying to provide guidance, support in whichever way I can for all the leaders that are out there in the local churches, and helping people connect in ministry. A lot of people are in extension ministry, deacons, and other elders doing chaplaincy work, doing coaching, doing mentoring, doing all different sorts of things. And they all connect to the church in their own unique ways.
So some of our listeners might not be aware of all the different kinds of pastors that we have.
Sure.
Can you kind of walk through some of those? Because I myself am still kind of learning, and some of those rules have changed and are changing, like what a deacon can do, what an elder can do. An elder in full connection is different than an elder who might be I'm probably saying all this wrong.
Sure.
But like a licensed local pastor. So what are those? Why do they matter?
Sure.
Ben's version.
Well, yes. The conference does not attest to any of the opinions that I may say. This is employee's opinion or whatever the byline is. Local pastors exist to serve in churches. They are appointed to a local church. They have full rights, sacraments, and to preach and teach and lead their congregations.
And that's just their congregation, or can they go anywhere?
That's their congregation. And really the difference between many of these is how they get their education and how they're appointed. So that then if you have if you go through the ordination process, you've completed a course of study or you've completed your master's, you can be ordained as a deacon or an elder. As you say, a lot of this did change at the beginning of 2024. I know it's 26 now, but the new discipline still feels very new.
Yes.
So it simplified this a little bit. But deacons generally come to their call as a bridge between the church and the world. So some are appointed to local churches as executive pastors or discipleship pastors. Some of them serve as chaplains in hospitals. Some of them do different sorts of roles, different nonprofits connection. But their idea is that they're deeply rooted in the church, and then they're involved in the community in such a way that it helps to serve and build up the church. And then elders are assigned to local churches, usually as senior pastors or as a solo pastor. And they are the ones that have full rights to do sacraments really anywhere, to be leaders. Deacons now are allowed to do the sacraments whenever they deem it contextually appropriate.
Okay.
And so as it's needed, as they can, they're welcome to do that. Now we've universalized, when I say extension ministry, I just mean an appointment outside of a local church.
Okay.
And so now in the new discipline changes, as riveting as this may be, I hope I'm not going too far there. Everyone can serve in extension ministry. So local pastors, deacons, and elders, we've universalized our language for that instead of having different language for each of the orders. So everyone can serve an appointment outside of the church, and some can sort of form hybrid.
Okay.
So you can serve at a Wesley Foundation in a church, or you can serve in a nonprofit in a church. And so there's just lots of ways.
That makes sense. So with some of these changes, are you starting to see a a lot more of our candidates kind of be like, I want to be elder or I want to be deacon. Are you seeing like a change in that now that deacons have full sacramental authority?
Well, I don't know if it's a long-term change. Our upcoming class has a significant number of deacons in it. They haven't done their interviews yet. But should they all be approved, we have a large number of deacons coming in. But they are a mix of traditional appointments and more creative kind of extension ministry appointments.
Okay.
Whether that's going to be a trend, we will see. I think people are expressing a lot of interest in the deacon. But it also means that you create your own, you search for your own appointment, essentially. So you have to, when you come in the process, you basically have to have a understanding of what you want to do.
Okay.
As opposed to an elder who comes in and says, send me anywhere.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. That call is very different.
It's really a different call. And sometimes we get mixed up in the language or we see somebody serving a role. But it comes down to the theological kind of understanding of the order and how you show up to serve. And they are different calls, you're right.
Yeah, very interesting. Thank you for that. Now, how does all of this go into our lay ministers? I know you work mostly with clergy, but CLV, Center for Leadership Vitality,
yes,
also is heavily involved in our lay leaders, our lay ministries. I have people who I know who are lay people serving as the single pastor, the only pastor at a church. So what does that look like? And how the heck do you get involved with that?
Well, that's a great question. The districts put on trainings quite often, and some of them you can do in person, and some of them now you can do online. There's different levels of the lay servant ministries and certified lay ministers. And we have all that on our website. I won't walk you through all the details. But
Karen and I think Stephanie, those are their names. They dress up like baseball people and go around and teach about it sometimes, I think.
Okay. I haven't
not seen them.
No, I've not seen them.
Oh my goodness. As much as you love baseball, I feel like you need to go meet them.
Okay.
Stephanie Griffin and Karen Jones.
Yes.
Northwest District, maybe?
I knew that they teach it. I've not seen them do that.
You just need to see it. They've got uniforms and everything. They're incredible. Incredible.
But the courses are basic leadership and theology instruction. And so if you're a lay person in your church and you want to be somebody who can help be a liturgist or help fill in preaching every once in a while, or just be like a leader in your adult ministries or children's ministries, whatever you want to do, it's a basic education that will help equip you to be that sort of leader. And from what I understand, it's a very good primer on Methodist theology and understanding who and what we are. And then things like certified lay minister, like you're saying, where they'll get sent out to a church that maybe can't afford to have like a full-time local pastor there, but could use a lay person to step into that role. And so there's a wide variety of that. Just because you go in the lay ministry doesn't mean that you're going to be a solo preacher, right? Some of them are, but some of them are just they're serving on their church leadership board or whatever. But if you are interested in that and you're listening and you're a lady, have a conversation with your pastor about it and sign up for one of the classes.
Yeah. I don't consider myself a certified lay minister or anything, but my calling is huge on like serving as a lay person in the church. I had the opportunity to go and work in the communications field at a bigger place, and I got that. And then I heard from God, like, I need you in my church. And I ended up at A&M United Methodist for a little while, almost a decade until I came here.
Right.
And I just think, again, if there's anybody out there listening who is a lay person and looking for a way to serve, maybe not even like full-time, but part-time, or maybe just volunteer, like, talk to CLV. They've got a lot of resources for you all to use. They can connect you with people right there in your district who are close to you, who can walk side by side with you. It's just, I think it's so important, so important. And qualified people are needed in the local church now more than ever.
That's true.
Now more than ever. So we just heard a lot about the different roles of clergy, some laity. We have a new role that is starting in the conference. It's coming out of CLV, and this person starts now. So she's going to be our guest next week on the podcast.
Great.
So Ben, kind of tell us a little bit about it. This announcement is coming out on Thursday to the conference, which is when this episode will air.
Okay.
So exciting stuff you're going to get to talk about. So the conference has hired a part-time chaplain for the whole conference, for all the clergy.
Right.
How the heck did that happen?
So there's a group of people called the Clergy Leadership Team, and we're a group of people that helps put on some of these events like the gathering you attended. But we really took seriously this work of asking what is it the clergy people need, especially post disaffiliation coming into, it was around 2023 when we kind of started asking these questions. And so we put out a survey and kind of asked, how is that with your soul? What do you need? What do you want? And we got a lot of responses around how much trust do you have in the conference, and asking some of these really honest questions about why people feel isolated, why clergy feel disconnected, and why they're grieving. There's a lot of answers. We also did listening groups with clergy. We presented this at multiple clergy gatherings, received a lot of input. We had some places where we did a World Cafe and kind of asked people's ideas. And so out of that, out of a long time of kind of discerning, we kind of came to what can we do right now? And that came down to two things, which we'll talk about this morning. The first is this idea of a chaplain. The idea is that clergy have a lot of support from access to our benefits. This isn't meant to replace some our therapy benefits or anything like that.
Yeah, hold on just a second. That was like a huge thing when I got here. I was like, I want to know what you're doing for your clergy. Like, that was a question I asked Bishop. I asked Monica, asked Robert, what do we do for our clergy? Because they take on so much the weight of their local congregation. Like, what do we do for their mental health?
Yes.
Because I know other denominations, they don't. And sometimes
Right.
you just swipe it under the rug, and that's a way of coping. But goodness gracious, the TAC does so much as far as like clergy mental health, and I'm worried people don't know about it.
Yes, that's very important.
There are things like it's free to do the teledoc anytime with the clergy insurance, which they have to have, which I know there's some complaints, we have to do this, but there's so many benefits with it. There's somebody they can go to and talk to for any issue. They get 6 free sessions per issue.
Yes.
You can have as many issues as you have. It's a fruit basket. And then we also have the clergy well-being grants.
Yes.
Right? And so that's something else that we've kind of been talking about, mostly over text, on the website, different things. But you all are giving away $100,000.
That's right, yes.
For clergy to go and do spiritual wellness, physical wellness, mental wellness, insert whatever you want to think, wellness.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yes.
And
yes.
Again, so each clergy can have up to $1,000.
Yes. Yes, that was the second part of after the chaplain, was that idea of let clergy determine the ways in which they want to kind of grow. So I like to use the example of like gardening. Gardening brings a lot of like rest and relaxation for some people. In other people, it stresses completely out.
So so what you're saying is you could write a grant, because you kind of have to write it yourself.
Yeah, I'm just saying, what do you need? Could be, for some people, education. I need to know how to negotiate an insurance contract. For some people, it's like, I need to go on a vacation with my family. And other people, it's like, I need to go to a spiritual retreat far away from my family.
I need a dog. I don't need a dog, but I need a puppy. Could that work?
Well, the only it isn't to pay to buy things. Yeah. It's meant to provide like experiences, right? So like, the vacation would be perfectly, I need lessons to do this. I need to help pay for my gym membership. I need to help pay for these sorts of things. As long as it's basically anything other than just cut me a check, and you have a justification of why contributing towards your well-being, we're happy to grant. It's not meant to be like it's not meant to prevent people. We've approved almost everyone that we've received.
Yeah.
And so it's open to all clergy in the conference, and we've only given away like 25%. So please apply.
Oh my goodness, apply. So could like a group of clergy get together and like say they want to go on a trip together, or they want to go to an Astros game, or think bigger, go to the Sphere and see the Backstreet Boys. That would be so fun. I'm not clergy, so I can't do that. How fun would it be?
Yeah. Group applications are fine. We've already had one that, I mean, it's a lot smaller scale than what you're talking about, but they have a covenant group that meets once a month, and the grant's going to go to pay for their meal when they meet for a covenant group.
I love that.
And so that's just a cool way.
That is so much better than the Backstreet Boys. Again, I'm not clergy, but that sounds so fun.
But some people are going on very large trips, and they're saying, hey, this grant would help me pay for a week of stay in this place. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So that, again, is one of the many, many ways right now that the TAC is really pouring back into our clergy.
Yes.
And then I think the icing on the cake is this chaplaincy opportunity that you all are trying out right now.
Yes.
So you kind of talked a little bit about why and how, and it's a response from clergy.
Yeah.
Now tell us about who.
Oh, sure. BJ Hightower is the one we've offered to be our conference chaplain. She's currently having those kind of conversations around with DSs and getting her structure set up. But she's a retired clergy person, and just has chaplaincy experience. But it's also important for us to reach out to someone who's not fully within the appointment system. We want this to be a person who is has confidentiality, is trustworthy, somebody that any clergy could feel comfortable calling. And she is just very, very excited to be providing this role. And like I said, we don't know really if this is something, everyone who hears about it gets excited about it. So I hope they'll take advantage and reach out to her. She's here to listen, help her pray, here to make connections or referrals as necessary. And so we'll kind of see how it goes. And if it's successful, we'll continue this and learn from it. Yeah.
And it's really important, I think, for the clergy listeners to know that just like those clergy well-being grants, you've got to apply. You've got to use what's being put out. You don't have to, but we want you to so that we can continue offering more things. We don't want just 25% of our clergy using our chaplain. We want, if you need to use it, use it.
Right.
75% of you really need to go apply for those grants right now.
That's right.
It's just sitting there waiting for you to be used. So I got to talk to BJ earlier this week and just over the phone. And her resume is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
She was at Houston Methodist for almost 10 years.
Right.
So like she knows what she's doing. She also has walked in the shoes of many of our pastors right now. So she'll be able to relate. And again, she's there to talk about whatever they need to talk about. And she's not going to go tattle to your DS or to the bishop. Like, right. I think that's really important for people to know. She's not there just to be a tattletale box.
Yes.
What kind of safeguards are set up in place for clergy when it comes to that?
For confidentiality? Mm-hmm. Well, BJ has an understanding of confidentiality that is the same. I mean, she's coaching trained, which also has this understanding of confidentiality and shares the same confidentiality that a chaplain would have. And she does communicate with district superintendents, receives maybe a referral from them. Hey, it would be great if you reached out to so-and-so, but the DSs aren't calling her to get the scoop, if that's what you're saying.
Yes.
That is crucial for any kind of chaplaincy relationship is an understanding that this is somebody you can talk to and be honest with, and that wouldn't frame how they're perceived from a professional level. And that was kind of the frustration that we were typing into, is that some clergy felt isolated in that the person supervising them, they didn't feel kind of comfortable reaching out or not, maybe they could benefit from having somebody else to talk to. So we hope this will at least provide a way for that. and see how it goes. It's kind of a grand experiment. So
It is. Have there been any other, again, I'm kind of new here. Have there been any other kind of experiment things that you wish people had kind of taken a bite at quicker, or that maybe they failed? And because sometimes you fail up and we get things like this.
yeah.
So have there been any of those sorts of things? I know you've only been here 3 years.
Sure.
So
We've experimented a lot with these internships because we know there are college students who want church experience. And so our full-time internship has had less attention than it has in the past. And so as a result of it, we've experimented with these kind of part-time ones, with the part-time summer ones, even with these Lakeview internships. So now there's an internship where you go serve at Lakeview for 2 weeks and then 4 weeks in a church.
And an annual conference.
And an annual conference. And so those have all been various levels of success, but we've experimented on, making it a little bit more flexible to the needs of college students. As far as schedules go, a little bit rigorous because we're not have people fighting to get in the door. So if we're a little bit more, we get a lot more participation. One of the things that was a big important force is the Texas Youth Academy, which kind of went on pause for a while. But then that provided an opportunity for us to use that space in the Emerging Leaders Endowment funding to fund this global youth gathering.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're sending 20 youth and adults to Ireland to go to the gathering that's going to be later this summer in Ireland.
And we talked about that last year at annual conference.
Yeah.
And is that when you all were doing applications and things for that? Or was that...
That was after. So at annual conference was the proposal that we find a way to fund this.
Okay.
That we send delegates. And that the bishop proposed that, and that was met with a lot of support. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of one of these things is like, we're not currently doing a conference-led youth focus on faith formation like we were in the past.
Yeah.
But now we're able to say, hey, we have the resources to send 10 youth, 5 young adults, and then 5 chaperones to Ireland to represent our conference, to do legislative work, to do growth and meeting people. So hopefully that will be a new way of doing that. And then from there, we'll kind of see how things go.
Yeah. How long are they going to be there?
A week.
A week? Okay.
And then there's also an optional extension to go into London to do some Wesley tour things. So some of them will be there a little longer.
Okay. Do you have quite a few people who are wanting to extend their time and do that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Is it the youth or the young adults or the chaperones who are wanting to do that?
I think the chaperones need to go, right?
Obviously.
Some parents are just choosing to pay their own way and go with their students. But yeah, it's another one of those flexibility things is apparently summer is like 4 weeks now for
they're so busy.
Students. Yeah.
Which, how does that change the internship program? And because again, being at A&M for so long, right there across the street from Texas A&M, like we used to have, and they still do have summer interns every summer, but the amount of interns at the church who are also doing summer school, like that's just the norm.
Yes.
Like you have 5 semesters every year because if you're not doing summer school, you're getting behind. So how is that changing? How's that changing your job when it comes to recruiting and getting interns and making sure that interns are finding a balance? That's a lot of questions in one. So sorry about that.
No. I mean, that's part of the old Youth Academy model was 2 solid weeks uninterrupted of commitment. And I think there's a lot of really talented students that are interested in ministry and theology that just couldn't make that happen because of band or other commitments that they've made. Internships are the same way. Some people can't start because they're doing some sort of 2-week mini-mester and then they need to end early. And that's part of where that kind of flexibility that I mentioned, where they can kind of determine that as long as you're getting your kind of work done. But it just means rethinking the ways in which we've done things for so long based on the new time availabilities. But it also means that for certain things, you have to say, this is very important. You need to make space for this. And if you can't, then there's an expectation that you should.
Yeah.
So Kansas City Summit is one of those things where it's on a Friday night and a Saturday morning in July. And sometimes that's hard for people. But we are accommodating, flexible, but like this is the step where you need to be there. So it's kind of a balance between those things. Just trying to work with people as much as possible.
Yeah. Like the puzzle pieces are always shifting a little bit. So you've got to kind of rework, and man, it seems, I'm glad that you're like stepping in and being able to kind of adjust as needed. But I just can't imagine trying to squeeze one more thing into some of these college students' lives right now.
Absolutely.
And not that college students are the only people who are exploring ministry right now, but we do want young people to step into those shoes that are, leaving. We do have quite a few retirees this year.
Right.
And so somebody needs to come in and kind of lead with them and learn from them as they're stepping out. When it comes to our retirees, that's another area that you kind of get to help out with when it comes to annual conference. It just, again, the discipline much better than I do. But that's your job to know that.
Such a flex, yeah.
Such a flex. I've already heard before we started rolling, which we'll get to in a little bit, Ben's a nerd, so he loves to read all those things.
Right.
But what would be important for our retirees to like leave as kind of like a little wisdom nugget for these people who are coming up their candidacy, and even the people who maybe they've just been ordained or confirmed, not commissioned, ordained or commissioned over the past 1 to 3 years.
Ooh. That's actually one of the questions. I mean, I've done a number of years. I get to interview the retirees for the videos. And one of the questions is that of passing the mantle, advice to young people. I'm trying to go through the Rolodex of what people have said. A lot of it is about, listening to your congregation, being, intellectually humble, hearing new ideas and opinions, learning from people and having a willingness to continue to grow. But I think, I don't know, I don't want to speak for retirees, but I think that they have a lot to share with people who are just starting, recognizing that we're in different eras and different times and church need different things. But the role remains the same, which is the same as it's been for thousands of years, which is to help lead and guide the church, the body of Christ, the gathering of the people. And there's a lot that we can learn from those who have done it for so long.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for kind of winding down a little bit. Okay. Towards the end of our interview, we could talk for a long time.
Sure.
And there's some things we haven't got to talk about, so we might have to have you back on. So now this is really just to get to know you.
Okay.
I want people to be able to come up to you and just talk. If we're not going to put your cell phone number on the screen or say it out loud, maybe later. So
you can email me.
You can email him, Burnside, at txcumc.org. There you go. So we're going to end every episode with just a quick, fast 5. There may be more than 5 questions, but we just want to get to know you a little bit more. And maybe people will send you snacks or send you an email and say, you picked the wrong thing. So easy thing. Aggies or Longhorns?
Well, I went to Texas A&M, but I think you meant God's chosen people versus...
See, I'm not an Aggie, but I would pick Aggies too.
Well,
but our bishop is a Longhorn.
We must be careful. Our bishop is a Longhorn, but gig 'em, yes.
Okay, perfect. Coffee or tea?
Oh, that's a good question. Default to coffee, but I do enjoy a good tea.
I can't stand it.
You can't stand coffee?
I can't stand coffee, and I want to like it so bad, but I got tea in my office.
I feel like clergy, policemen are the two where you just have to drink black coffee.
I'm neither of both. Well, this is water, and I usually have
drinking hot water.
I am. I love just hot lemon water.
Are you in choir?
Yes. My throat was feeling a little scratchy and it's cold today. No, but usually I just have a chai tea, not even a latte, just a chai tea with a little squirt of honey.
I'm not judging tea. I love tea. But if you're asking coffee or tea, I have to do
coffee. Okay. It's just so nasty. It smells delicious.
Does she have to put milk in it, the tea?
No.
Yes.
My body doesn't like it. So no, thank you.
Well, in that case,
No, thank you.
Sure.
What's your favorite book of the Bible?
Book of the Bible?
A book of the Bible. There's 66 to choose from.
I feel like I have a very generic answer to that, but if I'm going to be honest, I like the Book of Romans.
Romans.
Yeah.
Hey. All right. That's not what I was thinking. More Old Testament for you.
More Old Testament?
Yeah.
I just studied the Book of Romans a lot in seminary, and I just find it to be, I have a brain that functions more in like philosophical, theological mindset, as we talked about, and it just speaks to me in a way.
Okay.
Some people don't like it. Or some people find it important, but it's not their favorite.
I was thinking of you more like an Ecclesiastes, like Proverbs.
Woe is me.
What?
That book?
Just like... So whenever I meet people, I immediately think of like, what cartoon character are they?
Okay.
So don't be offended.
What are you going to say?
But you're like the Bugs Bunny, like holding the skull.
Oh, I like that.
That's Ben. That is Ben. So there is a wrong answer to this. Cats or dogs? Are you a neither?
Well, no, I'm a both. I have a cat and a dog.
Okay.
So I'm trying to decide which one I love more.
There is an answer.
I guess I would answer dog, but I don't know.
Right answer.
Okay, good.
That's the right answer.
Okay.
I have had cats and dogs. Dogs are God's chosen animal.
I love cats. I just don't like cleaning up the vomit. I don't know if I can say that.
I feel like maybe you had a broken cat.
Every cat vomits, and I don't believe otherwise. And you have to clean it up. And it's always at 4 a.m.
That wasn't me.
Every time.
I'm so sorry. In the car, podcast or music?
Podcasts, audiobook.
Mm-hmm. Same.
I have a long commute now, but one of the benefits of that is like I can get through a whole book.
A whole book or whole episode?
Week and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we started recording, you were telling me a little bit about a podcast that you used to do. One of your friends, Jameson.
Yes. What about it?
What about it?
For a while, we did a podcast on comic books and theology, and we would talk about random comic books that was coming out or a movie or whatever. Did one on board games, basically anything, and would talk about that in conversation with theology.
Favorite board game?
Favorite board game? I don't know. That would be very... Oh, I know. It's one of those things that's like, why waste the answer? It's a board game called Great Western Trail.
I don't know this, and I'm a board game girl.
Yeah, it's a game about selling your cows in Kansas City, and then doing the loop of selling your cows, then taking the train back home and getting more cows.
Okay. Interesting.
Set in the Great West.
Okay. I was thinking like Catan, something like that. I love Catan. My favorite is Lords of Waterdeep.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of that?
Played that, yes.
Okay, perfect. It's a Dungeons and Dragons board game, but it's really...
You're a nerd too.
Not quite.
Okay, fine.
I do enjoy when I have to play board games. I want it to be a fun one, and that's a fun one. Last question, last Fast Five. I think we've done more than 5 now. Beach or mountains?
So I was never a beach person until I got married.
Oh.
But my wife loves the beach, and I was like reluctantly went, but she introduced me to like how to actually navigate it and do it, and now I absolutely love the beach. We go every year.
Now your wife, I know your wife's family.
Right.
They're beach people.
They're beach
cruise people.
But they have done it their whole lives, so they know like how to pack lunches, what to bring, how to do the setup.
The Fongies know how to do everything.
I would have just gone out there with nothing and just got burned and sad. But they do it in a way that is awesome. So
the pre-planning ahead of time, I feel like that's something that just is in their DNA.
Yes.
Of just like, we're going to do all this hard work before we get there. So when we get there, it's going to be...
They swarm like ants. They leave everything set up and beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Do you think your kids are going to do that?
Yes, they will be forced to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Are the Burnsides the same way?
To an extent, we're just a much smaller group. So they have a built-in like 20 people on deck all the time, and we were always like 4 or 5, right? So it's a little bit different of a dynamic. but I feel like they have been kind of folded in with the other family. So
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Then is there anything else that you want people listening to know about you? Not what you do, but just you.
I don't know.
It's okay if you don't. That means that he wants you all to send him an email and ask him questions that you might know. So,
Well, I don't know about, you said about me,
about
but
you.
not what I do.
Yeah. You're more than your work.
Thank you. You are more than your worth.
Thank you so much for being my first guest.
Oh, yeah.
This is not what I thought I was going to be doing as Director of Communications for the Texas Annual Conference.
Here you are.
But here I am. So this has been fun. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah.
I'm Alisha Bynum.
I'm Ben Burnside.
And this is How We Thrive.